Hey guys, this is Comic Ken, and I hope you can hear me today. I just finished setting up, so we should be able to jump right into it and continue the drawing that I've been working on. It's the two leading characters of my latest webcomic, Saintly, and they are in the pool rooms and swimming. So yeah, let me go ahead and connect my iPad, and then we'll go ahead and just jump right into the stream. But yeah, I've been seeing you guys' comments on my latest videos, and I appreciate all the feedback and input that y'all are sending me. So yeah, I try to, in fact, I do. I respond to literally everybody's comments on literally every video I post. And the only time I don't is if YouTube hid it from me for some reason. So yeah, that is that. Let me go ahead and plug this in and get started and say what's up to everybody. What's up, Jom? JOM, how you doing, man? Appreciate you coming out to the show, or woman. I don't really know. But yeah. Hey, what's up, Ictus? How you doing? Appreciate you coming out to the show, dude. What's up, Nick Stream? How you doing, man? Appreciate you coming out to the show. And then what's up to Red Bull? Give wing. B3Q. I haven't seen you before here, but appreciate you coming out. We're just gonna it's just happening on my computer screen, so that's kind of, or my phone screen, so that's kind of weird, and I can't really. Okay, so I can hear again. Let me say what's up to G4, dude. How you doing? Appreciate you coming out to the show. Okay, let me go ahead and go down to, oh yeah, all right. Let me get my iPad set up here. We don't have to run around look for the connection cord because that is already here. So we should be good. And then I'll set up the screen. And for some reason it's not pulling up. Oh, you know what? I just have to unplug it and replug it. That's all. Then it'll show up. Should be a couple of seconds here. Let me see what's going on. Oh, the dongle wasn't plugged in. My bad, y'all. It's just sometimes there's always something going on. Let me see. Come on, let's go. Come on, you can do it. For some reason, it's not connecting. Let me see if there's some other situation going on somewhere. No, I don't see it, but let me say what's up to the Void Existentialist. How you doing, man? Or woman? I don't know, but appreciate you coming out to the show. What's up? Ictus says I launched OOTD on Global Comics last Friday. In 3 days I'll hit 1K views. Awesome, man. Oh, that's dope, man. OOTD, I forget something dimensions. Give the full name so people know exactly what OOTD stands for, what it's called. That's a mistake that I used to make, where I would abbreviate things that I know the meaning of, but other people wouldn't, so they didn't like, in your own head you know the meaning of it, but other people won't. Okay, let's see. let's see. Okay. We're recording. Oh, sick. Okay, finally. There we go. Awesome. It plugged in. I just had to adjust it a little bit. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get this started. I think this says, are you charging up to go Super Saiyan, Ken? I don't know what that means. Let me see. I don't self-promote myself on your chat, but if you insist. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you not doing that, but it's okay to say that you're working on something or that you're doing stuff. But some people go OD with it, where they're just like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, you guys should come check me out. It's like, why are you doing that right now? But yeah, absolutely. You've been really good in the chat and all that, so you're good to go. Odyssey of the Dream Mover. Awesome. So y'all go check that out on Global Comics for sure. And then we got LeMay. What's up? Appreciate you coming out to the show. We're just about to get started drawing, so here we go. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll just jump right into it. Here we go. Yeah, for some reason these past few videos I've been kind of going hard in the paint. Not against the manga industry, but sort of figuring out the where people should try to place their effort and their energy. Hey, what's up, Dale? Appreciate you coming out to the show, dude. Let me go over here, make sure it's playing and that y'all can see what I'm doing. Can y'all see it? Will the screen move? Okay, cool. Yeah, so the last few videos I've been kind of going hard in the paint against the not against the manga industry, but talking about the different paths that creators can take, and sort of the disillusionment that kind of can set in when you dream about having this career in comics, and then when you get to the actual point when it's possible, it just becomes this it's not as clear as you thought it might be. It's not as clear, the path isn't as set in stone as you thought it once was. And so I've been discussing a lot of that on the channel lately, and I have more videos about that I'm thinking about making, specifically about comic creators who are making a living in comics without having to they're creators that you probably never heard of, that are making a perfectly good living, and they don't have to be popular, they don't have to be big or anything. They're just doing their own thing and making a living, which is really the goal at the end of the day, is be creatively free, but also financially free. So that is a video that I'll be doing soon. And then one about if you are particularly determined to go into the manga industry, there is an article that I read by a Japanese creator who basically lists out all the details of what it takes to actually make it over there, where he's just talking about maintain your health, draw fast and good, and then what else? And then read every magazine all the time from front to back, you want to know the trends, you want to know the styles, the trending styles that everybody is aware of, that everybody is looking at, so you are able to what's the word, comprehend like what's popular these days, like what are people really into, what are people paying attention to. So yeah, all that stuff is important. I'll be doing videos on that coming up pretty soon. And okay, so what I'm going to do in this case to figure out the background here, I'm going to go ahead and hit change canvas size because I need more space to figure out this perspective. I'm going to hit there we go. And what I'm specifically trying to figure out is this water slide here. So I drew this water slide in the background of a previous image. Let me see if I can open it. Let me go to Dropbox and Saintly Art. And then here we go. Where's the okay, there we go. Nice. Let me see. Naruro. I'll just say Naruro. It says or Naru. It says almost missed peak live stream. Hey, appreciate you coming on. Welcome. And hey, what's up, Massive Panda? How you doing, man? Appreciate you coming on. We're just getting this drawing underway and trying to figure it out. So the water slide from this image over here is basically this water slide right here. So it's coming out from the wall and it's going to be the green one. I didn't remember which order I drew it in, so I had to come back and look at it. So what I'm going to do in this case is, because I have I gave myself all this space here to draw the water slide opening, and I basically need it to be at the size that it is now, but still look like humans could come through it. Like it has to be at a size that is believable for people to come through it. And I don't want to change the size of the water slide in the picture, but I might have to adjust its position somewhere differently so it doesn't mess up the perspective in the entire picture. So what I kind of have to do here is take the canvas and expand it down as well. I think I accidentally moved the whole thing. So let me go ahead and take this canvas size, extend it down. Okay, here we go. And then I'm basically gonna make a mark for where their legs are. So it's not to draw it perfectly, but it's to draw where their legs would be. And you guys can see that. Okay, good. I'm gonna hit save. And if this is the horizon line, Vivi is gonna be up a little higher. So be around here. And like I said, they don't have to be perfect or anything. They're just, you know, roughly placed. So let me see. Once we get her size, I'm going to do it on a different layer. And I'm going to use the stick mechanic right here. And once we get basically her size, we want to make it so that Like her friend's there, but she'd be a little bit smaller. I'm just trying to figure out proportions at this exact moment. But right now, I got their legs here. And then basically the slide itself should go up something like this, like something like that. So I'm extending the canvas backward to make it, to give myself room to understand the drawing that we're in. So if we were to keep it the way it is now, would it be possible? And how do we even have it placed right now? So, okay. So that's the horizon line. It's also, so this doesn't look quite right. It needs to be thinner. Just based on what we have in the image so far. And then I'm going to erase huge swaths. There we go. And then I'm going to draw this. All this stuff I'm doing right now is just thinking. Like I'm thinking with the illustration and trying to figure out some stuff. Like the illustration process isn't cut and dry where you just know how things are supposed to go all the time. Like a lot of it is just, dang, I didn't really think about that. Now I got to figure it out. And so if this extended beyond the wall, it would actually come out a good ways from the wall. And the wall would be pushed way further back than it currently is. In fact, I would like to extend the canvas upwards even more just to have more space to figure out where the slide stops. And that would give me a good idea of the diameter of the slide to begin with. So, dang, have we reached the limits of how big we can go with this thing? Yeah, it won't allow me to go bigger with this with the canvas size. So I just have to make do with what I got right now. So I'm gonna go ahead, erase this huge swath here. And then I'm going to, if this is the width or the diameter of the slide in the image, I'm like thinking, is it the correct size? I mean, we can force it to be the correct size, but I don't want to trip up the overall feel of it. So I'm going to, in fact, I might have to shift the canvas upwards or make Chelsea and Vivi smaller, just so Chelsea can actually like fit in the canvas and come down a little bit. So here we have the this is the general direction of the lines on this side. We definitely don't have the slide placed correctly. So is it in 3-point? Not necessarily. We have 1 point going this way, right? We have 1 point. Actually, we don't have 1 point because that's perpendicular to the horizon, or that's just the actual horizon. So it'll be 1 point going this way. Then we got this sort of pattern going the other way. But the lines, do they recede in a specific direction? Not that I can tell, but the ones going up, they're also not necessarily receding in an upward direction. But if I angle them slightly, then they do. So it could be 3-point perspective with a very wide third point for the ground plane, in which case we might have something, instead of all the points being like parallel, they kind of go crazy outside of the actual canvas of the image. And so that would slide here. And then Naru says Comic Ken is the father of the new gen big three. No. What big three? Because there's got to be what is it called? Like an American. You know, it'd be cool if there was an American big three. But the big three is a whole like what's it called? Phenomenon that that Americans made up when Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece like were all blowing up at the same time and were competing in the magazine at around the same time because they were also popular in the States. One Piece was probably less popular than Naruto at the time, because Naruto was just so like dominant in terms of, for like kids got into it. One Piece had a bad dub at the time with 4Kids, so it just wasn't on people's radars as much. Okay, so in this case, I'm not gonna go too hard with figuring out the water slide design. I just need to look up the opening, like the mouth of a water slide, so that I can actually reference it and have that on hand. Let me check if there are any comments. Hit save. And I'm going to check Google for any water slide. I'm looking for a water slide exit. One that I can draw pretty easily. Not that it has to be easy, but I just need one that will give me a good idea of what it's supposed to look like. And I think I found one, but I'm going to try for just a slightly different one to see if I can find. Oh, cool. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That also looks pretty good. That one looks pretty good as well. But there's a kid in front of it, and it's kind of annoying. Let me see. Let me see. Can y'all see what I'm looking at? There we go. Let's see. Oh, let me say what's up to Joseph Lopez. Appreciate you coming out to the show, dude. We are just looking for references at the moment for the art we're drawing. Um, Master Panda says, the video you posted today about the American and Japanese markets was great. Do people even want to still break into comics in the West like they used to? Pay sucks and series constantly get canceled. I genuinely don't know anymore. Back when I was a kid, all I knew was that I wanted to get into the comics industry, and because there were like success stories, like what was it called? What's his name? Brian Lee O'Malley, and okay, there we go. That's the one we need. There were success stories like Brian Lee O'Malley, and who else? Robert Kirkman and Saga. It was like, oh yeah, this is totally a viable industry to break into, and it's possible to succeed. And then when I went to the Kubert school, people wanted all types of jobs. But the thing about like the comics industry per se, okay, I think this is a good reference right here, but I feel like the other one was slightly better. The thing about the comics industry is like there are so many jobs that people want, and the way they were teaching us how to work was different than what you'd expect in the manga industry, where in manga they it's almost basically assumed that you're going to be drawing and writing and doing everything for the manga. Like you're going to be the one drawing and writing. But in manga they also have legacy media that they hire artists to draw for those like properties, like Beyblade or Pokemon. There's no original creator of the manga for those properties, meaning like it didn't start off as a manga. It started off as like a video game or something like that, where they hire a manga artist or a writer or a team to do those projects. Whereas in comics, it's less assumed that you're going to be the writer and the artist and the colorist. It's less assumed that you're going to be doing all that stuff, and more often you're trained to be a penciler, or you're trained to be an inker, or you're trained to be a writer or a letterer or a colorist. Because the taste in America is to have full colored comic books. Let me save in photos. Or you know what? I'll just copy image. Because the assumption is that in American comics, there's so many different jobs that you could get in American comics that people aren't necessarily looking to create their own work all the time. Like they're not always aiming for creator-owned books. A lot of times it's like, okay, I'm good at drawing, so I'm gonna become a penciler for one of the big two and get paid a lot. Or I'm good at inking and I love to play with ink, so I'm gonna become an inker and get paid. Or I'm a writer. And a lot of writers who start off in comics are so compelled to write that they'll just draw their comic at first. Dang, it crashed. Well, good thing I saved before all that, but hopefully y'all can see it. A lot of writers are so compelled to write in comics that they're just like, I can't afford to hire an artist, so I'm just gonna draw it myself. And so you get stuff like Goldfish, by Brian Michael Bendis, or I don't know. I think maybe even Robert Kirkman has drawn his own comic, but I don't know 100%. Close. File. Import. Image. File. Import. Oh, you know what? Paste. Allow paste. It'll be up in the corner. Yep. And I'll take it all the way down here. But yeah, it's different in the comics industry because not everybody is trying to make their own creator-owned stuff. So even when I was attending the Cuber School, people were trying to get different types of jobs. They weren't necessarily all gung-ho about, I'm gonna become a writer or specifically a penciler, or they weren't all gung-ho about like, I'm gonna become like a manga artist so I can draw my own series and make $1 million or something. In fact, even in America, it's considered kind of special to be a writer and an artist. They call it like being a writer artist, you know what I mean? Whereas in manga, it's just a mangaka, which in the video I talk about how they call mangaka is how in America we call cartoonists, which is basically a writer artist, somebody who writes and draws their own comic, but they're not doing they're the kind who write and draw their own comic, but they're not doing an art style that is so laborious, or they're not drawing like Superman Jim Lee, or they're not drawing like Stuart Immonen. They're not drawing that full rounded art like Joe Madureira. They're drawing very simple style that you can draw repeatedly and quickly, and they're telling simple stories, simple gags with their cartoons. So it's less of a mental task, and they can get the work out faster. And that's the equivalent to what a manga artist is in Japan, who's writing and drawing their own story. Apply transformation, yes. Now, do I want to flip this thing? And let me see. Naru says American Big 3 Apple Black Clock Striker Shardbound. I kind of check out Shardbound because I know about Apple Black and Clock Striker. For me, if you consider that a part of it, and the father American Big 3 had to be Saintly. That came Saintly came way later, man. But I appreciate it, dude. Yosef Lopez, Brian Lee gives me hope. Oh yeah, and he's Canadian, so it's a little bit different actually. Master Panda says, yeah, Bendis didn't do something like, didn't Bendis do something like that for a series he did back in the day? Yep, absolutely. Goldfish, Deep Cut, yep. There was a manga that a buddy showed me years ago that he swore up and down had an awesome story, but that artwork was so trash that I just couldn't get on board with it. Yeah, there's so many manga stories like that where the art could be just straight dog cheeks and you're just like, I can't do it. Or the story could overcome the quality of the art to the point where you're just like, you know what? Yeah, this is pretty good. Like reading a comic by One, who does One Punch Man and Mob Psycho. That's why they focus so heavily on storytelling quality over there, because you can have like a really quality art style, and I'm talking art style that is better than Hunter x Hunter, but hardly anyone really like, especially over in the States, knows about those stories because they don't get animes. They get canceled because the story is so lackluster that even the the readers, don't forgive the level of the art. Like the art isn't enough to compensate for the lack of story in those cases. So let me, I would have gotten this from the angle that I needed, but I'm just gonna have to use my imagination. Let me check out the comments. John says it's typical to learn on the job, then take what you've learned and strike out on your own 10 years down the road. Yeah, especially in the manga industry where you're learning a whole bunch of, you know, tips and tricks, and then you submit one shots over time to eventually get serialized. And ideally that's the way it would work in comics in America, but nope, that's just not how it is. Joseph Lopez says, I'm a writer artist, I love writing stories and dialogue. Yep. Nelly Oda, what's up, man? I haven't caught a stream in a while. How you doing, man? Pretty good, man, pretty good. I'm just drawing away, man. Appreciate you coming out to it. We're just talking about random stuff. John said One Punch Man and Mob are good examples. Attack on Titan too. Oh yeah, especially early Attack on Titan. If you've seen the one shot of Attack on Titan, you'd be like, how did this guy get published? But it was just sheer determination and solid storytelling that he was able to get published with Kodansha, I think. So you know what? Let me go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and erase this thing. I do want to keep this nice contrast I have around her. Okay, y'all can see what I'm drawing around her arm and backside here with the blackness of the slide opening. But I have to basically ditch this slide so I can figure out first the proportions of my characters. Then we can worry about where the slide would be placed. That way we're not focused too much on it. So immediately we get an answer here, because in the one of the first versions of the illustration, that wall was just further back. And this is the problem with figuring out perspective after you've already gotten everything in place. So the water, if we were to put it like this, would be quite shallow. Like it's not super deep, which is fine. The other option would be to make it deep like this, but I don't want to lose her hand right here. So one thing I could do, nope. And there's not going to be a lot of waves in a pool like this. So if I'm going to choose a line where it's cut off, it has to be a good line. One that doesn't cut off any precious details that we need to make the image work. So I'm going to try to find a line. Let me see. Naru says Shardbound is created by me. Oh wow, nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Is that part of Saturday AM? Let me know. So I'm gonna have the water kind of come up. I don't want to lose that hand, and I don't want to blur it out because of the water. So where do I want to place it? If I put the water line, down here, sure you get like full views, but it doesn't work in perspective, and it's kind of weird. Oh yeah, overwrite. We got to do that before that cuts out again, and you guys can see it. Is not even opening. Oh, nice. Well, good luck, man. Good luck. So basically, we want a line that bisects at the correct place. So right here might be a good spot. The other spot is up here. Who says it has to be? No, it just doesn't work the same way if it's like that. But it's like this. Seems to work just fine. We could even double line it. And then it should be just fine like that. Okay. So now we've sort of established a line of causation for the pool itself. And it's going to be, we have a reference board. So it's going to be kind of a situation where where's my reference board? Oh, there it is. It's going to be kind of a situation where the water, you can see inside the water like this, where you can see inside the water and you can see above the water as well. So it's going to be like a camera half submerged type thing. So this is kind of the effect we're looking for, but the water won't be murky like that. It'll be pretty clear. And then I'm going to have this be full screen, split screen, slide over. Yeah. And we'll have that there. Okay. And so let me see. All right. Then what we'll do is I do need to change their size before we go into too much more detail. Change the size of Vivi and Chelsea. So I'm going to take both of them, just make them slightly smaller. Yep. That just about works. And then if I just move them ever so slightly, like they're in a good place. So I'm going to press OK just to hit close, just to save where they're at right now. And I'm going to hit save over there. And I can't, like, it's really interesting to think, like, this is work. Like, this is like if you've seen the other streams where we're drawing, it seems so simple how they're drawn, but the work, or at least the knowledge it took to arrive at their current level of finish was like labor. It was like drawing, figuring out, thinking, all that kind of stuff, putting it all together and all that. And that's what is, you are just trying to figure things out. It's problem solving. You're just problem solving until the image looks how you want it to look. Nope. 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 Yep. Okay. Oh, I gotta lock that layer then. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. Then so this wall won't. How big would the slides opening be? Basically, we can figure that out in perspective. Her leg wouldn't go there per se, because the perspective is tilted. So her leg might be, or her foot might be touching down like this. And then we got a vanishing point going this way. So what I want to do is, before we try to do that water slide opening, I'm going to go ahead and first of all check the comments just to make sure. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and start putting in these perspective rulers. All week I have been doing perspective on paper for the comic and trying to get all those lines in the right place. And it's just been, it's been easy because I don't do like super complex locations or anything, but it's just been tedious. Like I had a illustration take me all day. I'll show y'all what that page actually looks like, or that panel. And then let me see. Okay. See, that's the thing about this point. It's so shallow that we don't even really have a vanishing point for it. It's just so far off the page that we might as well make it 1 point. Then this one would probably be in the frame somewhere. So if we go based on one of these lines that we've already established, does it match up with what we already have? Like, which one would be a better matchup? be this, where the lines kind of go out like that, and then the vanishing point recedes this way. Well, let's figure out the... Okay, so if it does do that, then these will look kind of weird going like that. It'd be really wide angle. So if I do it more like this, it might actually work out better. And the vanishing point would point directly to the monster in the area. I think I might like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this third point where it's supposed to go by first moving to the lines I already sort of have established here. Let's see. Frozzy. Say what's up to Frozzy Tango 9927. I put my email in and I still can't get Saintly Chapter 1. Let me go to the actual page. Did you check your spam folder? That's the only other place you'd be able to see it if it doesn't pop up immediately. So this should be like... Nope. This should be the screen to put in your email for Saintly. This is what should come up for everybody whenever they click on the link to read it. And let me see. It should take you to... Yeah, if you don't see it, it's most likely in your spam folder. Naru says, where can we read Saintly? Because I'm low-key trying to read Peak. I appreciate it. Saintly is in the link in the description of this video, actually. And you will, like, once you click it, you'll basically go to the page that looks like this. And once you put your email in, you'll be able to get the first chapter, which is 31 pages. And it'll be in black and white like this. And it's not even like fully... It's not as finished as this. Like, this is the colored version, the one where, you know, all the characters are right. I haven't, like, launched it officially yet. So this was actually... like a free sample so that people could understand like what the story is like before I give the full like finished version. I just wanted, when I was creating it, I wanted to put it out as fast as possible. So in the email, you'll get the first chapter in black and white, but the are not always connected to every exact character that is speaking. So that is the only part that you'll be kind of having to like parse out. But other than that, it's like the first main story. So I'll be launching this officially, like with the colors and everything, in October. And it'll always be like for free. This is a webcomic, so I just go based on that model. Because I remember back in the day when I was a kid, I would read a lot of these free webcomics, and I'd be like so excited that they were free, like, because the stories were so high quality. I was just like, wow, I get to read all this stuff for free. I just felt lucky, you know what I mean? And so I wanted to make other people feel lucky that they that they get to read something like Saintly, or they get to read something of a high level of quality for free. And I want to make somebody else feel like, oh wow, I get to read all this for free, and just give them an experience that they'll enjoy. So that is what I'm aiming for with Saintly, and I hope to achieve that in the future going forward. But right now I'm working on chapter 3, and it's a little bit slow going, but I'm just about to finish the inking step on paper. So it is coming together finally. Okay, so here we go. We got this vanishing point, and we want to, okay, so it does line up pretty well. That lines up pretty well. That vanishing point is in a good spot. Cool. Then this vanishing point. Do we have this in a good spot? Do I want it there, or do I want it off the page? Seems to work better off the page with the established points that I currently have. And oh, it's not even off the page, it's just right at the corner of it. And I do like where that placement is, so I'm going to keep that as well. And then the third vanishing point is supposed to sort of match up with this line here. So we have that. And I might have made it perpendicular. Yeah, I did. I freaking did. But I mean, it seems to work. But if this were more angled, I think that would be better. Yeah, that would be ever so slightly better if it were angled. So that's our 3 points. I know it looks like a kind of a confusing mess, but I will clear that up shortly. So what I'm going to do here is lower the opacity on this layer. Lower. And then I have to turn off another layer because it's sort of getting in the way of my vision. Okay, there we go. Cool. So now we're basically just going to do a cleaner version of what we have right now. Master Panda says, both of those poses look awesome, man. I stepped out for a sec. Did you say this was for an actual page or some kind of promo illustration? Either way, looking great so far. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, this is actually more of just a promo illustration. Like it's just for fun. It was an idea. Like for me, I'm trying to be able to do promo illustrations or side illustrations for the comic while I'm doing the comic. And so this is 100% part of that, where I had an idea and I was just like, you know, this idea is fun enough to run with and to try to turn it into a full illustration. Let me go ahead and draw that out. And it's good fodder for like streams, especially when it's hard to see my drawing board sometimes. Or until I figure out how to record myself drawing a lot better. So right now, or like having a little illustration to do every once in a while is just better for me. And this, one thing I'm trying to do, well, like this is like Saintly is supposed to be a franchise. Like I want to do how they're doing it in Japan, but in America, for webcomics, where I'm drawing all these illustrations, like how they have color splash pages for Japanese manga, where the splash is meant to give people an idea of like, oh, that's what these characters are like, or it's supposed to get people excited about the idea of the story, or just give people a different look at what is going on inside the story besides the normal comic. Because what is going on here is not at all what's going on in the comic. It has nothing to do with that. It might as well be a parallel universe. It's just some, fun illustration that's currently happening. But I'm trying to get to a point where I can do illustrations like this on a monthly basis, do smaller illustrations on a sort of weekly basis, and I want to learn Blender and start drawing animations again, so that I can fully give people an idea of what this Saintly is like, give people a full view of it. Because if I'm not getting published in Japan, then I want to give people a good idea of what Saintly is all about with my bare hands. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if I'm not gonna get an anime from Saintly, if I can't really count on that, what if I just made little snippets, made like like little proof of concept for Saintly and its own anime type thing. I think that would be really fun to do, and to get people interested in the story, get people hyped for what's to come. So I'm gonna learn Blender, gonna learn a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch, but just a couple of programs, so I can give people a little taste, a little snippet of like animation and all that kind of stuff as like a proof of concept. And then people will buy the comic more based on what I'm doing with the animations and all that. Okay, so here I have one Chelsea unit basically. So if I project her height into the distance, this is how tall she would be over here by the edge of the pool. So I'm going to raise the water level right at that point here, so it look a little nicer. And let me see the comments. I feel like I saw somebody. Hey, Code Ninja 100, what's up, man? Appreciate you coming out to the show. We're just drawing, man, just drawing. Says Master Panda says it almost gives the vibes of an old school Antarctic Press swimsuit edition. It's giving me some Fred Perry nostalgia vibe feels. I love this. Oh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, man. I used to look into Fred Perry and Antarctic Press like way back in the day. I didn't actually read Gold Digger, but I was really impressed with the fact that he was just drawing it, I'm pretty sure by himself for 30 years. Like, he has a whole, what they call a gold brick. Like, he has a brick of just his comics, just him drawing repeatedly over time. Like, he's just drawing his story like over time and staying consistent with it, pushing it out every month, and basically holding up Antarctic Press for decades, and he was doing the same thing as Dave Sim, and basically I'm trying to do the same thing as well. It's like, if anybody is serious in comics, or if because I have the opportunity I have right now to make comics full time, I want to be able to keep drawing and not stop. So if I can make an issue per month and just keep doing that forever, or for as long as I can manage it, or just something like that, to where I'm consistently putting out a new chapter every month, then I feel like I will have developed a long, like a consistency that basically means you win no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't beat people with quality, you can beat them with consistency and continuing to show up. You know what I mean? And so Fred Perry no doubt has like a good living off of, I mean, that's just my guess, off of making his comic for as long as he did and never missing a deadline. And I want to be able to do the same thing, but also like make it a franchise, make it into animations, all this kind of stuff. And for that, I'll need a studio. I'm going to try to develop a studio over time, people to help me out with lettering the comic, and I basically want to do all the steps, so they would help me flat the comic, put the flat colors on, and I would just do the main coloring and then all the this other stuff. But let's see. Code Ninja says, I've always loved Naruto and One Piece splash pages. I was thinking I'd eventually see that scene in the story. LOL. Oh yeah, yeah. They were really cool, but I was like, I was thinking like, oh, when did this happen in the story? This never happened. One really cool thing that I saw one time in One Piece is that they had an opening dedicated to the cover color like splashes, where you would see Oda's art animated, and I was just like, that's so awesome. That's literally what I want to try to do with Saintly, where let's say I'm drawing this drawing and we have an animated version of this drawing where you could see, you know, the monster in the back acting. You could just see them making just little motions, little gestures, and it would be like kind of a GIF loop on that level. And I'm pretty sure that's like 100% possible. I would just do some type of GIF loop, but One Piece did something similar where they animated the splash pages where Luffy's like riding a bicycle, or maybe they are riding some type of vehicle, some special type of vehicle. But it was really cool that they were able to do that. So I'm pretty sure that type of thing is 100% possible with a self-promoted, self-marketed book. I just need to dust off my animation chops and start putting a little bit more work in. Okay, so I'm gonna project this height basically here. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm just eyeballing it at the moment, but what I would do is literally just copy this to a new layer and then move it. And bada bing, bada boom, I have what her height would be at this level. Whoops. Then I go in the layer below and just kind of erase what I had there. So that's Chelsea's height there. And let me see. I have quite a few Gold Digger issues. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, there we go. Nick Stream says, I have a friend who works in Blender that I pay for backgrounds to draw over. Let them figure out the vanishing points. Yeah, that's nice. I wanna learn Blender so bad. I just don't I don't think I have the computer uh graphics card to handle it. So it can run pretty rudimentary, like a rudimentary version on my old Dell computer right now. But if I want to render anything out, I need a whole new graphics card, and now graphics cards are $1,000 or something. I don't know. I haven't tried to buy one, but yeah, one day I'm gonna get a whole new PC setup where I can do Blender and 3D and all that kind of stuff. Master Panda says, ban Gold Digger is fire and underrated. On YouTube, there are actually very few reviews and videos on the series. Not sure why. It's really good and underappreciated, I think. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've seen some animations that Fred Perry did as well, so that was really cool to see. I have quite a few Gold Digger issues, but nowhere near a full run and very disjointed. I wish I had them all. You forgetting Fred Perry also draws corn as a side hustle? He does? Well, then obviously he's got to be making bank. I mean, if he's drawing corn on the side, like, dang, he's making his cash. He's making his money. But he also put in all the work on Gold Digger to make it for 30 years. So he's hit that 300 mark in comics, which is a legendary milestone. So yeah. Solidine says, sexy. Yep. Code Ninja says, I'm totally with you though. I'm bringing all that back with my manga, the splash illustrations, the character bio, and the special moveset pages, the author notes, and in between chapters. Yeah, man, all that stuff makes manga fun, or it makes the work more fun to enjoy. Just by adding those special little tidbits to it, it's like, oh, this isn't just like a joke. It's like there's something more there. It's something special there. So as much as you can, you want to do little things like that make the reader feel like, oh, this is something special to enjoy. Okay, so if Chelsea were back here, that would be her height, and this monster is bigger than her height. So right now I'm really just putting in indications of where stuff is and how tall everybody would be in this situation. And you know what? Yeah, these pillars, as much as I want them to be taller, I do like having this sort of indication of a space above the pillars where you can see them kind of continuing on upward, and there's like a space or a location up there. But I want it to be in darkness too, because I like the dark. And so then this, I didn't even think about that until I projected all these perspective lines. But if I were to extend this back here, it would make sense for the water slide opening to be where it is. And when you draw a square, you can draw a circle. So wrap your mind around that one. All right, so we got a square here. That would be the opening of the water slide. And we're going to draw it as if it's a, what do you call it? Just a boxy shape. It doesn't have to be a full-on circle yet. And so because we have Chelsea's shape, like we got her length or her height here, and this is the bottom line right here. Okay, just making sure you guys can see me. We got the bottom line of her height here, and then we got the top line right here. We can project her to this space as well. So we can project her height in this direction. And we can figure out, like, okay, with the opening of this water slide, if we project it down, would it make sense that she would be able to stand there and be nearly as tall as it? So where did I project her height? Okay, I projected it basically right here at the mouth of the yep, those two lines. And yeah, it would make sense if she was standing here. This would be her height right here. And so part of her body would be able to see the top of this let me make it stop snapping to the thing so I can draw a rough outline here. Her body would be able to see the top. That's just a rough outline. Actually, let me just make it super rough. In fact, I could just I'm going to start a new layer and just put a circle there. Get the ellipse tool out. And I'm going to have that snap to the grid. So no. Oh, you know what? The best way to do it is to just draw the circle. It's definitely going to be... I want it to be a thicker line than that. But the best way to do it is to just draw the circle. And then retroactively fit it with the free transform tool. And let me... Okay. Massive Panda says, yeah, big props to both Fred Perry and Eric Larson for getting 300 issues of their IPs done. That's a crazy grind. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's very, very few people who've managed to accomplish that. That's Dave Sim, and Fred Perry, and Eric Larson, the ones that you mentioned. Todd McFarlane is different because he didn't write every single issue. He didn't draw every single issue. And I'm not sure if Fred Perry and Eric Larson both wrote and drew every single issue, but even if they didn't, they're still as close to that milestone as Fred Perry and or as Dave Sim and all that. But Todd McFarlane, he's different because he's more business focused, and he wasn't really in the writing room for all of his chapters or anything. Or maybe he was, I don't know. but he definitely didn't draw every single one. Okay. So that's how we've got the circle there. Do we want it to be like that? Is that as good as we can get it? Or do we want it to be bigger? You know what? It's a complex shape. So it doesn't have to be 100%. Okay. What is that layer? We're going to get rid of this one. I'm just going to type watch her slide. I want to get to the fun part already, man. Like, I just want to be able to color it and do all the cool fun stuff, put all the you know, effects and stuff on it. But this is the most important part right now, is figuring out everything, all the fundamentals, and putting it all in place. It's like building the structure of a house, and then you can have the fun by putting all the colors and all the interesting effects and all that stuff. But until then, like, you just have to go through the process until you finish figuring it all out, and then you can have the fun that you're looking for. Like, right now it's just, dang, I have to project this character over here, make sure this is in the right place, make sure it's not completely messed up. And then, because if all the perspective was wrong and I drew a cool drawing on top of that, or I colored all the rendering and all that stuff on top of it, it's like the final image, people would just be like, yeah, this is pretty good, but it kind of looks wrong, it looks off, it looks weird. So that's the only issue with that. I'm gonna collapse this into the line layer underneath. Cool. So next thing I want to do is, did we figure out whether we want this to be extended all the way back like that or not? I don't think we want it too far back, but we want it believably back. Oh, I think by erasing some things, I lost some of the information I was looking for. So I need this line for the top of the circle to be back where it was. There we go. Then we project this back here. Ah, very interesting. It's not going the exact way I thought it would go. And then I'm going to take my line tool and I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to project basically where this might go in perspective that way. So we're just imagining, like, okay, this is the place they came from. So now we can go ahead, go back to the perspective grid and see, does that line up? Does that make sense? Not necessarily. So it's going backward like that, but it should curve, have a kind of a more severe curve upward this way, sort of like this. Like that. Let me see. Let me see. Massive Panda says, "Oh dang, I forgot about Cerebus facts." Not gonna lie, Code Ninja says, "Not gonna lie, doing the measurements and shit is my favorite part of drawing." Really? Dang, that's most people's most hated part of drawing. I like the fact that it will allow me to draw a good drawing by the end. But sometimes when it doesn't line up, or when it doesn't like fit perfectly, when things just don't match up, it's like a hassle and it gets annoying. Zachary says, "Yeah, I relate to your struggle so much. Without a good base, it doesn't matter." Yeah, 100%, man. Conan just says, "It's so satisfying to draw a perfect box or cylinder in perspective." Yeah, especially when you're doing it on paper. When you nail it, it's just like nice. Okay, so I'm gonna delete that. Koji Plus, what's up? Koji Plus 1 says, "My favorite part of drawing and coloring, and drawing boobs on cute gals. My favorite part of drawing, coloring, and drawing boobs on cute girls." Oh yeah, 100%. Solidine says, "Sorry, I'm late. Is this a new cover?" No, this is not a new cover. What's up, Solidine? No, this is not a cover. This is just it's kind of like an illustration, like what I had before. Basically, it's like how they do in manga, where they'll just do an interesting / exciting like illustration for the comic that has nothing to do with the events of the story. So this is just sort of a little side quest or side adventure in the pool rooms, a concept from Liminal Space Backrooms, and I wanted to illustrate that with this drawing. So yeah, it's more meant to give people a sort of vibe for the story as a whole, rather than be a part of the story. It's like drawing a print. I'm basically just drawing a print. Okay, so let me see. Right, that fits much better, and nobody will ever see any of this work because it's completely outside the actual art, like the actual canvas of the piece. But it does seem to work a little bit better. It could be steeper, but let me see. Where the wall is fine. So if I had it my way, I would make it about this steep. It would fit in perspective much more than the lines we currently have. So I'll erase the current lines. There's only 3 of them. And this past chapter, chapter 3, has been so perspective heavy that it's actually just taken up a lot of time to do it. But the results are worth it, and the results are things I had to like kind of prove to myself, like that I can even do it. Because I'm still really early on in my career, so it's not time to like back off and just chill out on drawing hard stuff. I need to lean harder into drawing hard stuff so I can get better at that in the future. Like, I need to draw harder and harder, more difficult, challenging things, so that when it really comes down to drawing something really difficult, I can actually like manage it and not like lose my mind doing some stuff, because that is super important to be able to do. Okay, so we've gotten a good angle for where we want this thing to be outside of the canvas, and that always just informs where things should be in the canvas. So we got good placement on the things inside the canvas. So all I needed was to set that up so I could actually put the tiles in the proper place, and these pillars here. So the pillars are in their proper place, the tiles are in their proper place. If we file, recent, open that up, there's a couple of doors back there, but we'll leave them doors alone. And basically we're drawing the green water slide. All right. Next, even more complicated. You know what? I'm not gonna stress myself out trying to draw this perfectly. I'm just going to give it the good enough, you know what I mean? Unless like the only time I really go all out is when I know I could do it better than good enough. You know what I mean? So this, I know I can draw it perfectly, but not perfectly. I just know I know the structure of it. Let me check out the comments. Token, I want to get the whole name right because I don't think I've seen you before. Token Duelist. Oh, cool. I think I have seen you before. Just friends vibing. Yep, 100%. Let me see. Gotta like a center color page to grab attention. Yep, 100%. Like and jump. Yep. Token Duelist says, looking like the background is gonna go crazy when you're done. Oh yeah, it's just gonna be a pretty normal like pool rooms background. It's kind of like what I have referenced here, but I want to get the colors right, just right. It might be closer to these types of colors where the background will kind of look dull, but the characters are going to be kind of colorful like this. Like they're going to be colorful. I don't want to be too gray like this, but I don't want to be too blue as well. So sitting right in between green and blue. Saladin says, looks really cool, brother. Appreciate it. Nick Stream says, would you ever get guest artists to do the cover or variants if you do a physical release? Yeah, 100%. I've done that with Air Rider as well. I just wish I had the money to actually like hire out guest cover artists, but once I do launch it physically or do physical launches, I will have I will hire like people to do the actual variant covers. So yeah, yeah, I would definitely hire out for that. Um, I actually want to figure out what the Common America guys are doing to really blow up their business, because I think I could do something similar with the because my drawing style is similar. So I want to try to figure out like what are they doing to get readers for their indie comic, and how are they blowing up with everything they're doing. Because I don't think it's 100% the old like Comicsgate crowd that's really into their stuff. I think they found a good way to license their stuff overseas, so that not only American people are interested in it, but they just sort of landed on an audience overseas that also really fucks with their comic. In Japan specifically, I mean, where Japanese people are like, "Oh, we love this," and I think it's because it's like Americana that is inspired off of Japanese style, like art style. So they like that aspect of it, and they like the fact that it's America. Like, you know, there's sort of a funny kind of niche quality in that to them, I think. Okay. So basically, I'm just trying to figure out this opening type thing here. And what I'm going to do is project this circle one more time. And basically, we're going to cut it off at that halfway point. But I need to... You know, it's really interesting because in the past, I've never really had time to sit down and just draw a full illustration or even do something like this. Ever since I left school, I really haven't had a full opportunity to use the skills that I went to school for, like to go all out using it, you know what I mean? And now it's like every day is the same thing. Every day I'm actually just doing that, like going all out, trying to use my skills to build this IP, this idea, and make it into something. So I'm trying to take full advantage of that right now. It's like, you have no idea. I haven't like, I'm not really doing anything else besides working on this. Like, I hang out with friends once every few months at best for maybe a couple hours or half of a day. But I'm not really doing anything fun. I'm not really like hanging out or running around doing stuff. Like, it's just work on Saintly, get it done, get it faster. You're like, figure out ways to draw faster. Just figure this stuff out, because figuring it out is basically the key to everything. But if I don't do it fast enough, that's the end of everything, you know? like you spend so many years praying and wishing for an opportunity like this, and then if you don't recognize it when it's happening, the time goes by and you end up blowing it, and you're just like, oh fuck. Like, you'll look back in a few years and feel like, I had the opportunity of a lifetime, but I blew it because I was messing around. I don't even play like video games or anything. Like there's no, for me, there's no time to do that. And yet, video games, I think, will one day be part of, I guess, my marketing ecosystem, kind of what I do to get people interested in what I'm doing. I would play like more niche games or more games that have like this sort of liminal style, like whatever game this is. I might like take a look at that just to see what it is, or whatever game this is. Like it looks interesting in the art style. Or I'd play like Ico, or like The Last Guardian, or Shadow of the Colossus, and it would be like let's plays that aren't the mainstream. Everybody's already playing the mainstream games like Mecha Chameleon and, you know, playing the that hide and seek game, but that's like what streamers play to get attention on social media. But what I would play is like stuff that I was always interested in but never really had time to engage in. So that would be stuff like Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. But that's more for when I like move out of my parents' spot and have my own place. Because you know how parents are, like if they see you playing games, they'll just assume that you're messing around doing nothing in your entire life. So you don't want to you know, give them the wrong idea, like as if you're just taking life for granted, you know, or taking your position for granted, which I'm definitely not. Because if I do, there's gonna come a point, one time in the future, at some point in the future, where I'll be looking back and thinking, oh, I had this opportunity to go big in life. I had this opportunity to really buckle down and work hard for my dream, and I blew it. You know what I mean? You don't want to have that regretful feeling of you had a shot and then blew it, you know? And what did you blow it on? Blow it on, you know, just time wasting activities, or, you know, thinking of the wrong things, just unhelpful stuff, you know? So, yeah, I think we got a nice, good slide opening here. And part of it's going to be in shadow too, so that'll kind of keep with that dark, contrasty area that I want to keep in that spot. Let me check the comments here. Dang, there's a lot of comments. What the hell? Let me see. Okay. Solidine says, I definitely want to do a Saintly variant cover if possible in the future. Oh yeah, I'll definitely get you on. That would be really cool. I want to read Common America, but I think I need to figure out a reading order. Yeah, I started reading it just to see what it was like. I was just able to track down the first chapter. I was like, okay, here it is. Here's the first chapter, and then I just started reading from there. But I haven't like read past the first chapter. I was just like, okay, I see what it's going for. But it wasn't, you know, specifically for me, you know what I mean? Let's see. I think I've seen Common America at Comic Market for sale. It definitely has a Japanese following. Yeah, that's really cool. So you're out in Japan and you went to a Comic-Con? That's really cool, man. Let me see. Mort Mole says, did you go to art school? Yes, I went to the Kubert School. Because it took me a second because you said art school, but I don't consider the Kubert School art school. It's more like comic school, like specifically for comics, and a little bit for animation, but mostly comics. And yeah, I went to art school, so I got to pay that off at some point. Nick Stream says, for the Saintly video game, what's the gameplay genre? Damn, what is the gameplay genre? Because there's hack and slash, there's beat 'em up, kind of like Scott Pilgrim. There's Souls, like a Souls-like game. There's like mystery. There's like stealth. There's like a visual novel, visual novel type game. But that would be kind of boring. There's this game called Ao Oni, or like Blue Demon in Japan, that where it is more like a mystery story where you're finding out keys to different things. But no, it would be like because the comics genre is supernatural horror, and then I always say like it's a demon chase horror action comedy. So it would be something like Dead by Daylight. I don't know what game type Dead by Daylight is, but something where you're feeling your heartbeat in your chest because this monster thing is chasing you and you got to find a way to get away from it, escape it. That's what Saintly's game type would be. So yeah, I think that would be the game type for Saintly. Yeah, that was a good question. Let me see. Code Ninja says, I feel you. My life is pretty much the same, but I feel like if I wasn't doing this with my spare time, I'd be playing video games or doom scrolling. Oh, yeah. No matter the outcome, having finished books and improved skill will always be beneficial. Yeah, because then you have like a sellable item that you can always put out there. You know what I mean? Or like skills that you can always market and instead of having to do a job that you don't care about and is wasting your time in life, you can use the skills that you've developed to develop your skills even more. Like it just has a compounding effect. So that's why I'm drawing as much as I possibly can right now in this time period. If I can stretch this out for 2 years, then I'll never have to go back to a job again. And I'm pretty sure I won't. There was some place in my mind where it clicked to where I was just like, I might not ever have to go back to a job again if I do this right. So if I nail this time period and don't waste time, I think I won't have to go back to a job again if I don't want to. Like if I ever do go back to a job, it'll be by choice, like for fun. But yeah, that's just my thought. If I lock in right now and just do what I'm supposed to do. Token Duelist says, mood, I've been locking in more with art lately. Recently did my first 3-day event. It was great for my socials and I did well too. Nice. Awesome, man. Token Duelist says, I'm sitting here killing time waiting for Pal World's update. Oh yeah, I recently heard they came back from the lawsuit. I'm not sure if they ever like stopped the game altogether, but I think they won the lawsuit against Nintendo, and now they can just publish their game and people enjoy it, because it was really funny seeing like the RDC World videos come out with Pal World, and the mechanics are just like Pokemon, but it's different because you can use guns and kill the Pokemon, and I think you can eat them. I don't know, but it's just a whole different, like, it's just Pokemon on crack. Popping Rico, hey, what's up? Ooh, you drawing an anime beach episode? Yeah, something like that. They're in the pool rooms though. Joseph Lopez says puzzle. Nelly says Loki wants to start a storytime animation channel. Got any tips for having a YouTube channel and how to attract an audience? Watch other people's YouTube channels, watch other people's tutorials, and basically one thing that I've been doing, and if you're specifically trying to start a storytime YouTube channel, look up Starfish Face YouTube full-time. Yeah, YouTube full-time, because she discusses exactly what blew up her channel and how she blew up on YouTube by doing story time videos. I personally barely remember anything that happened to me in life, so I don't usually have story time videos, but I did try a couple of them in the past. Um, but one thing I do right now is I'll go to different channels that are as close to what I'm doing as possible, and then I'll look at their latest videos and I'll see the views, and I'll look at their most popular videos and see the views and what blew them up, what blew up their channel, how many subscribers they have, and what was the content of those uh massive videos that blew up their channel, and then is there something I can learn from that, is there something I can steal from that or copy from that and do for my channel. But I'm still in the phase where I don't want to heavily edit my videos and go all in on them. So I'm still in the sort of like spamming phase where I'm just making as many videos as I possibly can and putting volume over quality. Like I'm just like volume every single week. I put out 5 videos, or I'll do the 4 videos and then I'll do this live stream every single week. And by doing that, I learn a lot faster. And at the same time, I'm not putting as much time into editing, because I did the edited route before where I was editing my videos every single week. They're like recording on a Sunday, editing throughout the week, uploading on Thursday, and that was taking so much time away from my actual drawing time that I was just like, man, I don't even have time to draw, and I'm an artist. So I stopped doing that style, and I was just like, let me just talk into the camera and figure out how to speak off the cuff, so that I don't have to edit so deeply on every single video. And that's what worked out for me over time. But yeah, it's basically about finding what you personally like, finding that crossroads between what you personally like talking about and what gets views and attention towards your own comic, like readers. Let me see. Silence Draw says, I made it. What's up? What's up, Ken? What's up, everyone? Hey, what's up, Silence? How you doing, man? I recently saw you recently showed me your art, and I was just like, dang, this guy's actually really good. Nice. It reminds me of this other creator. It's AJ Art, but I personally think your anatomy is better. So JOM says survival horror. Okay, that's what it would be. Survival horror. Yeah, Saintly would be a survival horror game where you're just trying to run away from whatever demon monster is chasing you and survive. Okay, yeah, that's a good way to put it. This is parkour FPS. That doesn't make any sense. With multiple choice based outcomes. Yeah, that sounds actually pretty good. Ictus says, yes, you can eat them in Power World. Oh, that's disgusting. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I'd like to play Power World at some point. Dang, that's crazy. Let me see. LOL, they've been doing a few updates here and there, but yeah, they're doing amazing. Over 40 million players. That's insane. Dang, they must be making bank too. Game is fun and gets creative juices flowing with base building. Oh, that's fun. That sounds cool. Token says, I'm excited for the creativity potential with the new update. Yeah, that's gonna be really, really cool. Luckily, they won that lawsuit. Now they can just do whatever they want. That's really cool. And that was precarious, because that's Nintendo, man. That's Nintendo they're playing with. Little Gun. Let me see. I can actually wait for that to pop up. Little Gunslinger. Hey, I don't think I've seen you before. It says fucking Jerdy. I don't know what that is. Icta says, do you listen to Fruitager Arrow playlist when you work on Saintly? No, but I know the style you're talking about. It is a it's like after the early 2000s, like Y2K style. It kind of came with Windows Vista, or was it Windows 7 update? Like it was after Windows XP, which is more 2000s, early 2000s style. But no, I don't listen to a Fruitage or Arrow playlist. I would listen to 90s grunge and early 2000s style music, but I do have a playlist for Saintly specifically, and the type of music that is on there, like the majority of it is actually Persona music. And I don't even play Persona, but it just matched a lot of the vibe of the main characters Vivi and Chelsea. This one's Vivi, this one is Chelsea. So yeah, the Persona music really seemed to match the vibe of Saintly a lot. Let me see. Silent says, "Thank you, brother." No problem, man. Let me see. Ikta says Nintendo is trigger happy with lawsuits and hate fan-made games that they can hire these game devs to help improve their games. Yeah, dude. Like they have so many opportunities to make like really high quality 3D games for Pokemon, and yet people out here who are not under their payroll are doing better versions on their own, just out of the love of the game or out of the love of Pokemon. They're just like, yeah, let's just make something better because these guys, their heart's not in it or something, man. Like I just wish like they would hire some of these people, because they care about it so much that the graphics are better than what the official release looks like sometimes. There's even like a fan-made game that has like all regions put together up to either the Hoenn region or the Sinnoh region, all put together on one huge map, and it's a multiplayer game. It's in the pixel version, not the 3D version. It's in the pixel version, and yeah, you can like fight against other trainers. It's on a fan hosted server or something like that, and I don't know if you can still play it. Maybe Nintendo shut it down, but it's on a fan hosted server. You can play all the Pokemon games, have all your Pokemon, and that just sounds like the most fun experience. It makes my younger self be like, oh, I wish I could play that so bad. The thing that I wanted the most when I was little was this game called Pokemon Battle Dimension. No, Pokemon Battle Revolution for the Wii. Yeah, for the Wii. And that game looked like it was so much fun. Like I just wanted to play it. Like, but apparently the reviews for it were lackluster. Like people weren't enjoying it. But I would watch those videos all day, and the music was so fun. Like I just wanted it so bad. There was a contest for Pokemon Battle Revolution, and if you drew a Pokemon design or submitted it or something, you would be in the running to get a free Wii and to get the video game to play along with it. And I lost. I mean, I don't even think my submission went through. I don't know. I wasn't even sure how to put that in there, and my parents were gonna help me out because they didn't want me to be playing games. But yeah, I was just obsessed with that thing. I would watch gameplays of it all the time because I wanted to play it so bad. But yeah, nowadays, like, well, I'm at that age now where I'm sort of like creating what's going to be people's new obsession in the future. Like I'm creating the next thing. It doesn't have to be like a big thing. It's just something that people can actually like get into and be excited for. You know what I mean? That's part of the philosophy behind making illustrations like this. And it's not even the sexual part. It's like doing illustrations like this gets people excited. It's like entertainment. You're entertaining the reader with the possibility of something that could happen in your world. Like you're giving them something interesting to look at, to enjoy about the world that you're creating. And that's what I imagine is the Japanese philosophy behind doing um, color pages for their manga, where it does get people excited and interested in the story and pulls them in. That's what I was doing with the witch illustration that I did before. Even though that witch illustration has nothing to do with what is going on in the story, it's just a fun little thing to make people excited about Saintly and about like the story that's going on. So it's just all meant to pull people in and create a world that people can enjoy. And people are doing that all the time on social media. That's how a lot of these projects like the amazing digital circus or has been hotel, that's how a lot of these projects are born, where a certain vibe is conveyed through the art that you're making, and people get excited about it just through the characters that you're drawing, through the art, and they want to see like more of what you're doing. There's another project called I Want to Eat Your Guts, which is kind of a weird name, but it was supposed to be a shockwave animation through that company, um, but it got canceled. And I think partially it was because the original creator of the characters behind that series kept changing the characters, so there wasn't a consistent character design to really get excited about. And maybe the perhaps the uh, animation company that was going to turn it into a project had like, creative differences with the author, like the original creator, over it, because there wasn't a consistent vision. And that's kind of the precarious thing about OCs, rather than like a comic, where the comic is a story that has a canon, and it's sort of set in stone, really. Where, well, not really set in stone, but it's like you have a definitive story to refer back to. Whereas OCs, you can always just change, like, oh, I feel like making her black today, and now she's black, and now you're like, well, fuck, we were kind of already going in this other direction, and now we gotta change based on your whims. You know what I mean? Whereas if you read the first chapter of Saintly, or if you read chapter 2 or chapter 3, it's following a story that serves as source material to go off of, rather than some posts on social media. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, those types of things get people excited, and using social media to do that is basically a cheat code. So yeah, all that stuff is out there and available for you. You just got to know where to look. But let me read the last few comments, and then I'll cut this stream in a couple of minutes here. Let me see. Token Duelist says Persona music is such a banger. Yes, it is, 100%. Shep. What's his name? I don't think I've seen them before. Steppy. All right. He says Cobb Gang 1. I don't know what that means, but that's cool. Tokadilla says, I love Pokemon so much, but wowee, I wish the company did better. I heard there's over 300 new mons in the next game from the leakers. Not a fan of that idea. Really? 300? And what makes you not a fan of having 300 new Pokemon? Do they do kind of a standardized number with each release, like where it's just 150, like they did with the first iteration? Battle Revolution is so fun. Nice. BBC1. Opinion on Cruelty Squad. I don't know what Cruelty Squad is. JOM says it's perfect for a Halloween theme release in October. Oh yeah, 100%. Victor says, I'll be going to the con tomorrow. They have great guests for comics. They have Kevin Eastman. Oh, nice. Dan Mora. Oh, sick. Kyle Higgins. I know that name, but I don't know what he's from. Featured. I'm so hyped. That's good. Meeting indie comic creators that I can finally meet and network with. Nice. How about for the next piece, you switch the characters' outfits, maybe like a Freaky Friday smash for October. That actually is a thought that I've had for a while now, like where I switch their outfits just to see like how it would look on each of them. And what we're doing in like what me and my publisher have planned for September is to do illustrations, like separate illustrations, like, you know, OC illustrations that people will do to post on social media to get people interested in their work. We're going to do that for Saintly, where we just try a whole bunch of different ideas, like little comic strips or illustrations to get people excited about Saintly. And then we do that throughout September, and then in October is when we launch. And then by then it should have a bigger and bigger audience through social media, through YouTube, through all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I want to build this. If this is what people like, I want to build this into a franchise, you know, like I want to build it into a world that people can jump into and dive into and be interested in visiting, you know what I mean? Like I want to turn it into a fun place people visit and, you know, enjoy being, like enjoy their stay. And I have tons of ideas for how to actually do that and execute it, but it's just gonna take actual time, you know what I mean? Like I can't do that right now. That's a funny thing about comics, is like anything you want to do is just an idea in your head until you actually do it, and you can't just drop everything you're doing and do it right now. That's most of the reason why I talk about like these like manga contests and stuff like that, because I can't drop everything I'm doing right now and do like a contest like that, because there's no reason to. Like there's like I do a one shot and then let's say it gets rejected or something, and then now I just wasted time when I already have like a property that I'm slowly building up. It's better when you already have something going, just keep going with that and build it up using all the resources you have at hand to turn it into a proper something, you know, for people to dive into and sink their teeth into. And then you'll have basically in 10 to 15 years, that's what I see normally happening. 10 to 15 years you'll have of consistent work, and it doesn't even have to be that consistent, but 10 to 15 years you'll have a media property that blows up enough to where if you wanted to do a cartoon, you could do a cartoon, and that would have enough momentum behind it to where it will turn your thing into this if your work is like solid enough, like the story is good enough, the story is there, the property is something that people want to see, it will blow up to the point where you could have a situation like The Amazing Digital Circus, or you could have a situation like Gameoverse, or you could have a situation like Invincible, where Invincible finished its run like maybe like 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. And before that, it was running for 15 years, like 14, yeah, about 14 years, give or take. And it was just Ryan Otley and, well, first Corey Walker, then Ryan Otley and Robert Kirkman just showing up consistently over time, building this really cool, solid, awesome story for 14 years of their lives. And they built a whole IP out of it that the animation blew up. Animation is that thing that blows up. It's that X factor that blows up a certain comic to superstar levels. Like, if you don't have a comic behind the animation that you're making, then a lot more pressure is put on the animation to actually be a solid piece on its own, versus if you have a whole comic story behind it, then now you're like cooking with fire, like you're cooking with gas. So that's basically what I'm trying to do with Saintly. Like, since it seems to be something that people like, I can build that with Saintly over time, make a piece of work that is of high quality, and just do it enough consistently over time. And then in 10 to 15 years, I'm not thinking like this is going to blow up tomorrow. I'm not thinking it's going to blow up in 2 years. I'm thinking 10 to 15 years of putting in consistent work. Then maybe I'll have a shot at the big time. It's a little different than the manga route, because I'll be doing it mostly on my own for as long as I possibly can. And it's slower because I'm putting out less content over a longer period of time. But it's still possible to get the high-level anime treatment in America if you put in the time and the work and the effort. It's still possible to do the same thing. It's just not going to be as immediate or guaranteed as a manga. They just have a highly standardized system over there that makes that stuff possible within a matter of 3 to 4 to 5 years of creating a weekly comic, or maybe the same amount of time doing a monthly comic. It's just a different system that is built for that type of thing. Whereas over here, you could do something similar if you're consistent and stick with it for 10 to 15 years. And that 10 to 15 years is a very important number. Like, you can't just shortcut this, and you can't just sidestep it. Usually those projects don't last, or they don't go that far in their life cycle. Like, a perfect example is with Vivid and like Vivid Publishing and Dream Keepers with I think his name is David and Lily, but I don't know their last names. But they do like this anthropomorphic webcomic. You could also call it a furry webcomic, but it's not really weird. It's like as if it's like a Disney movie or something like that. And it's just, they've been working on it for decades. And only in the last couple of years did it finally like blow up on social media to where they just clicked in with the right character design. They found their groove. They found their moneymaker, and now it's starting to really pay dividends for all the work that they put in beforehand. They put in years beforehand without seeing much return, and now they're starting to see gangbusters returns. Like, they're able to expand their business and really blow it up and turn it into something because of all the work that they put in before. But most people either get destroyed, or they get out of the game too early, or they just quit for some reason before it's time for their seed to really germinate. It's kind of like the meme of the guy looking, like, digging for diamonds, and there's one guy who finds the diamonds because he kept digging, and then the guy below turns away because he's just like, I'm never gonna find these diamonds, and then he leaves just right before he gets his breakthrough to the actual diamonds. And that's kind of how you have to be with your own comic idea. You have to vet the comic idea first to see, is it actually resonating or going to be good with audiences? Like, do people want to see more of this? Do I want to see more of it? And then once you get an idea of if people want to see more of your story or more of your idea, then you can throw more and more energy and investment into it, and develop it into something more than it currently is. And and the more time you put into it, the more you'll get out of it, the more you'll get back from it. And then it will truly turn into this thing that is paying you dividends. Like, once you got a cartoon out there, and this is what Kazuki Buishi, the creator of Amulet, he was discussing with me. He said, more than any other thing, I want to, this was what he was telling me. He was like, I just want to, like, cartoons is the business. Like, cartoons is the best business thing to get into in regards to comics, because once you own the likeness of a cartoon, or once you own a cartoon, something that you draw once and then it just pays you over and over again, like, you can make bank off of it if you draw the right thing. Like Hello Kitty, they're still making money off of Hello Kitty, and that's a really old property. They're still making money off of it, and it was just somebody designed once, and now they're a jillionaire. You know what I mean? The creator of Simpsons, he designed them once, and now he's a jillionaire. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's still alive, but yeah, he's a cajillionaire. And then the creator of like Bucky's, the logo, I don't know if they got commissioned for it or if they make royalties off of it. But if they make royalties off of it, then they don't have to do anything for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? They made enough money just off of doing one single drawing of one cartoon animal that they can just live off of that forever. Same with like the cartoon of Chuck E. Cheese. They can just live off of that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how it has to be with making your own IP. It's not just you're making an idea, you're making a story, you're making a valuable project that could pay you off for the rest of your lifetime if you are willing to put in the 10 to 15 years it takes to turn it into something of worth, something of merit. And even when you hit that point, you'll still be working, but at least you'll get to a point where you never have to work again. So that is the goal with creating something with creative freedom, or creating a commercial piece of work that actually garners attention, and then developing what was it? Oh, and then eventually finding your way to financial freedom as well. But yeah, I was supposed to get off here in a few minutes, but I ended up going on that rant. Let me check out the last few comments, and then I'll just peace out. Let's see. Comics takes time. Okay. How about the next piece? Okay, yeah. Token Duelist says, lately the months have been lackluster. There's a lot of good ones, but sometimes I feel like there's over 70 new Pokemon per generation, and it really messes with the quality of the designs. Yeah, some of them are not the best. I love getting new monsters, but I'd like them to feel like their designs have more purpose or fit the region more. Yeah, a lot of the earlier designs, especially Hoenn designs, really were good. I didn't like the Diamond and Pearl anime that much, even though I watched a lot of it. But the Pokemon designs I thought were peak or near peak. I still have more of an affinity for the Hoenn region designs, but there's something about the Diamond and Pearl designs that are just so top tier. I just love them. Kyle Higgins is the writer for Boom's MM Power Rangers, well known for Shatter Grid arc, Nightwing, Marvels, Ultraman, Immortal, Batman. Okay, so he's a writer. And Radiant Black. Oh, why didn't you just say so? Radiant Black. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I check that out. It's kind of like Invincible. It would be, if anything, it would be Invincible's replacement, because it's got that kind of star power to it, I think. But I haven't heard much about it lately or recently. Token says comics takes time, and that's the real test of patience. Yeah, 100%. JLM says, how many pages are your chapters? From now on, they're going to be 20 pages. So the first one was 31. Second one was 19, so it would have an even 50. And now I'm working on a 20-page chapter, and the rest of them are going to be 20 pages. Immortal Legend Batman is very good. I have Olive Radiant back, but I gotta read through it still. The best contests to enter are the ones that will allow you to submit a work you already have and keep the rights for it. Oh yeah, 100%. Ichthus, not only that for manga contests, but they keep the rights of your idea. Even if you didn't win it, they own it. I don't think they always own it, but I think like if you do get signed up for a contract, they're gonna own your work. If you do sign up for like you get published and serialized in Shonen Jump, they're gonna own it, but they'll be able to license it out and distribute it and do all the work. They're taking on all the risk so that you make the royalties and you can just focus on making the comics. So there's a give and take in that system, but there's a lot more take. So yeah, I've always wanted a tokusatsu Batman. I'm glad that wish got granted. Oh, surprised there wasn't a Walking Dead animated series at this point, because they had the live action. They don't need an animated series. It would be kind of redundant if they did that. But it would be cool to see a live action movie of Invincible. That would be really cool. In Japan, they have committees for anime projects. It's a big deal. Oh yeah. Token Duelist says, I hope there's a humble bundle sale for the Boom Studio Rangers. I love collecting those DRM free goodies. I remember them. Webcomic Relief interviewed them. Oh yeah, Webcomic Relief. That takes me back. I think he's still making videos, but I remember watching that interview with them, and I was thinking like, why these guys make really high quality web comics? Why haven't they blown up yet? And they've been sticking with it and still putting out their stories. And it wasn't very long after that interview, like maybe a few years afterward, that they finally like blew up and hit that ignition point. And it's like good, because they deserve it. And I've been waiting for them to like, hit that point. We're gonna have Kyle sign Power Rangers, Soul of the Dragon. JM says his White Dragon movies finally being released. Oh, nice. Bro, the drama of White Dragon is insane. I looked it up and it's available in AMC theaters in my area. Okay. Token says Gen 4 has some of my favorite designs. Gen 4 has best design. Gen 5 has best games. Oh, that's interesting. I have not played Gen 5, but that's about when I was too old to, well, not too old to watch the anime, but when I just naturally drifted away from watching the anime was around Gen 5. I think that was when the black girl came in right after Dawn. And then that green-haired dude. I just don't know their names because I didn't watch. Or no, it was them. And I would have jumped back on at Pokemon XY with I guess Snivy and whatnot, and with that blonde kid, his little sister, and then that one girl, I guess her name's Serena or something. But because that looked like it had the same spirit as the old Pokemon. Like Pokemon XY looked like it was going to be really badass, and I think it was. But I just didn't see too much of Pokemon XY. I wanted to watch it, but when I saw like Pikachu lose to a level 10 Snivy at the beginning of the show, I was just like, bro, come on. Like, come on. What are we doing here, guys? That just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I was wanting to get into that one, but then when I saw that, I was just like, yeah, maybe they better make some better choices here. But Then Pokemon Sun and Moon came out. I was just like, yeah, nope, I'm good. Like the style of it was just so far away, so much of a departure from what I grew up on that I was just like, nah, I'm good. Even though he won the Pokemon League for the first time, finally became champion, I was just like, congratulations, but I'm not watching the anime. Like there's no way I could get into it. And plus I was in college at the time anyway, so it was just no time left to really like indulge in the anime like when I was a kid. So yeah. Good times with Pokemon, man. But Icta says every gen Pokemon Ash is still 10 years old. Yep. And I expected him to be older by Hoenn region. I expected him to at least be 11 by Hoenn, but he never aged. But yeah, man. That's pretty much it for this video. Like, man, we've been going for a while, 2 hours, almost 30 minutes. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming on to the show. And I just love having the discussion with y'all. And we've gotten to like a pretty decent spot with the illustration here. We've got the water slide pretty much set in place. We've got the poses for Vivi and Chelsea figured out, and we've got this background kind of pretty much going pretty good in the back there, and the water level figured out. So next time it still won't be time for color, and I might try to mess with this before next week if there is time, and then we'll just start inking Vivi and Chelsea, making sure they're good, and then we'll just start painting over the background and putting some beautiful color on here, because that's the only thing I've been waiting for this whole time. So yeah, appreciate you guys coming to the stream. Let me see. Great stream as always. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Watching your stream is like a college lecture. Yeah, it can be like that sometimes, but I just think about this stuff all the time, so you know, it would be like that. But yeah, appreciate y'all coming, and I will see y'all next week. Peace out. Have a good night.